Good afternoon and welcome back to another video. And today we are going to be talking about how many soldiers we've lost during this war. So basically how many Marcus Hunt soldiers that I have lost during this war against the Qvengers. And it's not just us, but that includes the Qvengers, Mr. Woodridge HQ and the Ragnars. And people will say to me that I forgot to mention Russell's army, which of course is the Devils, and Alex's army, who of course are the Revengers. But I'm not going to mention them in this video because in this war they have not been as active as much, and they have gone to a slight downfall ever since. I think mainly because they haven't had enough soldiers to join, or they've just not had enough money. But I don't know. So, ever since we have declared the war against the Qvengers on October 2020, we had been getting into a lot of fights and battles against the Qvengers most of the time, and also that we had been planning our operations on how we can defeat the Qvengers or how we can complete the mission, or save lives, whatever. And most of these battles were in Britain. And some of it was in San Andreas, and we've not had a single battle in Liberty City or Woohoo Island from Wii Sports Resorts. Those are the two islands we've not had a battle there. We haven't had a single fight there at all. Well, we probably have. Yeah, actually we have, but that was against the Ragnars and Mr. Woodridge HQ, but then they defeated us then. So yeah, the Qvengers never been to Liberty City. That's what I'm trying to say. But we've had our battles in different countries as well. So it's not just Britain and San Andreas. So, ladies and gentlemen, as one of my soldiers have scanned, like, how many soldiers we have lost during this war, including Qvengers, Mr. Woodridge HQ and the Ragnars, I'm going to be telling you guys how many we've actually lost. So basically we're going to count them in numbers. Not like counting them up to 1 million, but I will tell you the number of soldiers that we've lost and how many of our enemies we've lost, and including our ally, the Ragnars, who used to be our enemy. So, let's start with the Qvengers. So, ever since we battle the Qvengers more often, and we always get into a fight with them, they have literally lost 2.8 million. Wow. Well, actually, it's not just us that battles the Qvengers, but Mr. Woodridge HQ as well. Yeah, because Mr. Woodridge HQ and the Qvengers had been fighting along as well and killing each other. And Mr. Woodridge HQ were our allies at the start of this war. Surprisingly, as well. And Mr. Woodridge HQ was mostly beating the Qvengers in the battle. So that's why the Qvengers have lost so many soldiers, more than me and Mr. Woodridge HQ. And obviously the Marcus Hunt had a load of firepower, defeating the Qvengers even more. Even though we did lose one battle before, though. But oh well. Next up, Mr. Woodridge HQ. They've lost 1.9 million soldiers. Now, I'm saying 1.9 million is because ever since they did betray us in, well, last year, on April somewhere, I believe. Fuck, I can't remember. I think that was March time or February. But you know what? I can't remember. I know it was last year somewhere, but between February or March or April. Well, I don't think it was April, so let's leave April out of it. Yeah, so ever since Mr. Woodridge HQ had betrayed us, along with the Ragnars, yeah, we had been getting into a fight with them quite a lot, but we didn't do it most of the time. But I don't think it was that worse with the Qvengers like what we have done, though. And also consider the fact that Mr. Witheridge HQ and the Marcus Hunt are still not allies. And we need to stop fighting as well. Well, I'm not the one who started fighting Mr. Witheridge HQ. It was Mr. Witheridge HQ, well, Jack's army. He was the one who betrayed us and started a fight and decided to make this war even worse. So yeah, as of now, we are still the enemies. And also they are the villains. But Ben Bowler, the leader of the Qvengers, is the biggest war villain in this war. And the Marcus Hunt, well, as for me, Max Plume, leader of the Marcus Hunt, I am the biggest war hero in this war. And you guys would probably ask, what about Mr. Witheridge HQ? Is he the biggest war villain? Well, as I did mention in my video before, like, Jack Witheridge and Christian had become villains, even though I did say they're not as worse as Ben Bowler. But they could have, though. But they're just kind of like vigilantes, I would say. So this is why I'm saying that 1.9 million soldiers Mr. Witheridge HQ, well, Jack has lost, because that we had been getting into a fight with his army ever since the betrayal. And also, the Ragnars. They have lost, well, Christian's army, the Ragnars, have lost 700k. Now, I'm saying 700k is because they haven't been fighting us as much, even though we did battle them before, like rescue our Christian soldiers. And even Christian thought that my men were being racist to his ancestor, even though we never did. Yeah, I think that was the only time that we had our battle, though. We didn't really want to fight Christian's army that much, because I think I would know that we would be really good allies then. Yeah, so the Ragnars did betray us that time, along with Mr. Witheridge HQ, to try and defeat us as well. But what would be worse is Mr. Witheridge HQ and the Qvengers literally teamed up together to fight us, well, to defeat the Marcus Hunt, because basically we would be outnumbered by 2 armies. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. But even though Mr. Witheridge HQ and the Ragnars had teamed up together to try and defeat me and the Qvengers, yeah, even though we were outnumbered, well, I would have been outnumbered because of all this third parting, though, we still had the firepower to defeat them, though. We still had the firepower. And then, another the time that that Mr. Witheridge HQ had killed Kenny Petrovic because they thought that he was working for Vladimir Putin during this Ukraine war. Yeah, so Christian finally woke up. Well, as you guys knew that because I made a video before. Yeah, Christian woke up and had decided to make a really good choice by joining the Marcus Hunt side against Mr. Witheridge HQ and the Qvengers. So, once again, 700k is how many Christian had lost during this war. So the Ragnars are our allies as well, if you guys have forgotten. And last but not least, the Marcus Hunt, my army. And how many soldiers did we lose in this war? 1.6 million. So how we lost so many is because we've mostly been in the battle against the Qvengers most of the time. And our men were mostly killed by the Qvengers. But not as much, because, like I said, the Qvengers lost more soldiers during the battle, and mainly because we outnumbered them as well. And we had been getting into these kind of situations, like whether we would be third-pied by Mr. Widge HQ. Yeah, Mr. Widge HQ was targeting us as well. Oh yeah, and also what I did forget to mention, ever since me and Mr. Widge HQ got into a fight together on Treyarch Island, the Qvengers, if you guys probably forgot, they literally were bombarding us, and they had sent a nuke down and destroyed the whole island with all of us there. So my army and Mr. Widge HQ. So that literally destroyed the whole island, and that's why I've lost 1.6 million and Mr. Widge HQ lost 1.9 million. So that's just what's happened, and yeah, well, and also why we have lost a load of soldiers in this war is do you know what? I don't know what to say. So Marcus Hunt, 1.6 million. The Qvengers, 2.8 million. Mr. Widge HQ, 1.9 million. The Ragnars, 700k. I've literally written this down as well. My soldiers had told me how many soldiers I've lost, and then I had to write it down on a piece of paper, just in case if I've forgotten. So have a look at the papers, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. So, MH, Marcus Hunt, Qvengers, Mr. Widge HQ. Even though I did forget to put HQ at the end, but I probably didn't bother. And the Ragnars. So, this is how many soldiers were lost in each army during this war. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap up on today's video. And you guys would probably ask me, when will this war ever end against the Qvengers? Well, I don't know exactly, because the Qvengers won't even give up. But as for Mr. Widge HQ, Jack Withridge, I think they should give up during this war, and I think Jack should probably retire from his army because all the mistakes that he had done, though. And all the wrong things that he did. Betraying the Marcus Hunt, everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A like is always appreciated. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day and night to you all. Peace out. Underwater.